ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you to this weekly Bhagavad Gita classes. Today we are going to discuss from Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. We are going to discuss from the verse 27. So right now in Bhagavad Gita we are discussing in this section, second chapter, the knowledge of soul. So right now the current topic of discussion is knowledge of the soul. So Lord Krishna is explaining Arjuna on the knowledge of the soul from the verse number 11 to verse number 30. Bhagavad Gita second chapter. So right now till 26 verses we have already discussed in the last class. From the verse 27 we will start our discussion on the knowledge of the soul. Very interesting. In this discussion, Krishna is explaining that what is this soul. The most interesting and most surprised to know the qualities of the soul in this section. So let's try to understand from the verse 2.27. Those who have Bhagavad Gita with you all, please open Bhagavad Gita second chapter, verse number 27. So I'm going to read the sloka now, then I'll explain you the meaning of the sloka. And after this half an hour of class, if anybody have any questions or any comment, please feel free to ask those questions. So verse number 27, second chapter. Jatasya hi dhruvar mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmat apariharyarte Natvam sochitum arhasi. This is one of the very interesting and it's one of the very important sloka of Bhagavad Gita, 2.27. Jatasya hi dhruvar mrityu. So Krishna is explaining in this sloka birth and death. Nobody can stop this birth and death. Birth and death is unavoidable. How? Let's try to understand. Jatasya hi dhruvar mrityu. Jatasya means the one who has taken birth. Jatasya. Jatasya hi dhruva. Dhruva means for sure, determined. For sure, mrityu. Mrityu is there. So for one who has taken birth, death is certain. Dhruva Maharaj. The name is Dhruva means actually the meaning of the name is very determined, certain, for sure. It has to happen. That is Dhruva. So one who has taken birth in this material world, for sure he will die. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu. That is the first line of the sloka. And then the second line, dhruvam janma mrityasya. He is telling dhruvam for sure, janma mrityasya. Mrityasya means the one who has died. Mrityasya janma. He will certainly take birth. So first line explains the one who has taken birth, he is going to die. Second line is explaining the one who has died is going to take birth. Clear? So this is the first two line. And then the third line, Krishna is giving his conclusion. Tasmad apariharyarte. Oh my dear Arjuna, tasmad means therefore. Tasmad means hence. Tasmad apariharya. Apariharya means what? Pariharya means you can avoid it. Apariharya, it cannot avoid. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be avoidable. Apariharya, arthe, since. So Krishna is telling, just see Arjuna, the person who has taken birth is going to die. The person who has died is going to take birth. So you cannot avoid this birth and death. Whether he is a rich man or a poor man or a beggar, whoever has taken birth in this material world, he has to die. And whoever has died, he has to take birth. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you cannot stop this cycle. Na tum sochitum arhasi. Therefore, Arjuna, I am advising you, na tum sochitum arhasi. Sochitum means lamenting. Sochitum, sochana, lamentation. Na tum sochitum arhasi. You should not lament for this body, because this body has to be died. So Krishna is telling, just see, because Arjuna is telling, na, I will not fight. If I will not fight, then I will not kill all these my relatives, and they will live a long life. So Krishna is telling, you cannot stop their death, because they have taken birth in this material world. They will die for sure. May not be today or tomorrow, but they will die one day. So you cannot avoid their death. So better you fight and kill them, because by that you are performing your duty. You are doing your dharma. So you are thinking that if I will not fight them, then they will be live for eternal. No, they cannot live for eternal. They will die for sure in the future. Then better you fight and kill them, na? Because if you will not fight, means you are not doing your duty. Right now, your duty as a fighter, Kshatriya dharma, is to fight. So if you will not perform your duty, anyhow they are going to die. You cannot save them. And top of that, you are not performing your duty. So you are getting so much of sin on you. So Krishna is telling, better perform your duty and kill the opponent. That is the main agenda of Lord Krishna in this sloka. Now, verse 28, next verse. In the next verse, Krishna is going to explain this concept more vividly. Let's try to understand this sloka. And from this sloka, how this concept of the one who has taken birth is going to die. This concept is going to explain with an analogy. Verse 28. Abhyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata abhyakta nidhanani eva tatra ka paridevana. Abhyaktadini bhutani. Very interesting, little technical, try to understand the concept. Abhyakta means what? Invisible. Vyakta means visible. Avyakta means one that is invisible. Abhyakta adini. This is Sandhi Vichet. Abhyakta plus adini. Adini means what? Adi means beginning. The beginning. Bhutani. Bhutani means all the living entities. So Krishna is telling, in the beginning, all the living entity were invisible. Before birth, you don't see, right? Before birth, everything is invisible. So in the beginning, everything is invisible. Then Krishna is telling, Vyakta Madhyani Bharata. Vyakta means visible, manifestation. You can see. Madhyani, in between. In between, you can see the living entity. After birth, you can see the living entity. He has a body, he or she has a body, and the body is growing with the time. So Arjuna, you can see the body that is in between. Madhyani. Bharata. Bharata means Arjuna, the name of Arjuna, because he comes in the descendant of the Bharata king. Bharat king, so Bharata. Of third line, Abhyakta Nidhanani eva. Again, Nidhana, Nidhan ho jana, death. Nidhana means death. So when a death happens, again it becomes Abhyakta. You can't see the living being, only the body remains. And the body you burn or you bury or do something with the body and the body disappears. So again the living entity disappears, invisible, Abhyakta. Abhyakta Nidhanani eva. When Nidhana, when the death happens, the living entity is invisible. Tatra ka paridevana. Tatra ka, therefore, paridevana. Paridevana means why to lament Arjuna. So Krishna is explaining laws of conservation. In the beginning, there is no body, and then you have a body. Then at the death, again the body goes invisible. So for whom you are lamenting? That is Krishna's point. So actually, uh, Krishna is explaining this concept for the atheistic person. Suppose some person doesn't believe on the soul and he only believes on the body. From that perspective, Krishna is trying to understand Arjuna. So Krishna explains from so many philosophy. In this 30 verses, Krishna explains Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, even because there are two kinds of personalities. One is called theistic, another called atheistic. A theistic person, they believe on the God, they believe on the soul, presence of the soul. But the atheist person, they don't believe on the existence of the God. And they don't believe on the soul also. They believe that everything is body. Khao piyo aise karo. Till you live, eat, marry, drink, enjoy the life. And death is the life ends in the death. So in the previous verses, Krishna explains for the theistic person. So those who believers of the soul, Krishna tells that vasam sujirnani yatha vihaya, just like the body become old, then just like when the cloth become torn and the old, you throw the old cloth and you take a new cloth. Similarly, when the body become old, you throw the old body and the soul takes a new body. That is called transmigration. That is how the souls get a new body. This concept Krishna explains in the beginning, but this is applicable for the person who believes in the presence of the soul, who believes in the presence of the God. Now, suppose somebody comes and tells that I don't believe on God, I don't believe on the presence of the soul. Okay, Krishna then tells that okay, for you also there is nice explanation. So this explanation Krishna is telling for those various kinds of people, for the atheistic kind of people. Okay, there is no soul. Okay, but in the beginning there was nothing. The body came into existence, and then at the end the body again disappeared. So why then you are lamenting? In that perspective also, we are not talking about the soul. We are talking about the simple body. You are not believing on the soul, right? Okay. You are believing on the body. Okay. So before you taken birth, you were not there. This body was not existing. And the body came into existence when you are taking birth from your mother's womb. And at the death, when you burn the body, again the body becomes invisible. So there was nothing in the beginning and there was nothing after the death. So for what you are lamenting then? So why you are lamenting for this body then? Because there was nothing in the beginning and there is nothing in the end. Energy conservation, simple. That is what Krishna is explaining. So then Acharya gives a nice analogy for that. Just like a potter who makes a pot. In the beginning, he takes some earth, some mud he takes. And from the clay, he puts that clay in the potter's wheel and they start rotating the wheel. And when the wheel rotates, then a nice pot he creates. And after some years, when the pot no more it is usable and the pot breaks, again that goes to the earth. Again it becomes clay. So in the beginning it was clay, and then it become a pot, and then after some time again it becomes the clay. So why you are lamenting for the pot? That was the question of the Krishna. So initially it was clay, and at last it became again clay. So the pot was in between, the madhyastha, it is in between for certain time, it has a form. So why you are so much worried about that pot? Anyhow, it is again, it is going to become clay. So in that perspective, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that do not lament for the body of Bhishma, Drona, Duryodhana. These bodies are for the time being, they have a body, but in the beginning, they were nothing. At the end, they were nothing. In one way, this is not a correct explanation, in sense those who are not believing on the soul, for them Krishna is explaining. But uh, philosophically, if you see, then it's not a correct explanation, because we are not this body, but we are soul. And the soul remains always. Soul is eternal. Although the body temporary, it gets destroyed, but the soul doesn't get destroyed. The soul remains for eternity. So in that concept, it is not a correct explanation, because the soul remains always. So like that way, you have to understand it, that soul is eternal, body is temporary. So in this way, Krishna is explaining here about this body and soul. And from the future verses, Krishna, in the verse number 29, Krishna is going to explain the amazing character of the soul, how this soul is so adventurous, so surprising, and so amazing to understand the qualities of the soul. That is how the 29 verse and 30 verse Krishna is going to explain here in these two verses. Um, so that we will see in the future classes, verse number 29 and the verse number 30. And with that, we will end the section of the knowledge of the soul. So it was a little technical, so I'm not covering much verses. Otherwise, it will go above your head. So I'm stopping here. And if anybody have any questions or any comment or anything you want to share, or you have any questions related to today's discussion, please feel free to ask. Hare Krishna. You can unmute yourself and you can ask questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please
Your
accept my
voice
humble
is
obeisance.
not audible.
Am I audible now? Hare
Not
Krishna.
yet.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's audible, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Please
Krishna.
accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhuji, does that also mean Lord is trying to explain us that do not lament for the body? Indirectly, he's saying that what you're lamenting for is soul actually. Does that mean in this way? Indirectly, it also means that we are lamenting for the soul only, because lamenting for the body, because before the body wasn't there, after that the body won't be there. So is Krishna indirectly telling us that what we are lamenting for is the soul only for the atheistic people? Can it be seen in that way? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's very important thing we are considering now. So Krishna is like there are so many varieties of people. So targeting to the atheistic people, Krishna is explaining this concept, and we can take a lesson that when we are lamenting, because this body is temporary, so there is no point in lamenting. So if really somebody wants to lament, so we are lamenting for the soul. For the soul means what? This soul, how this soul is suffering, and it is so many lifetime. It is suffering in this material world, and it is not in connection with the God. So which is our eternal parents, Krishna, God. So in that way, we can have a lamentation that we should try to make our connection with the God. So in that way, it can become a true lamentation. You can lament how we are disconnected from our true parents, Krishna, God. And we are thinking that this is my body and these are my parents, this is my house, this is my car, this is all this identification. But in one sense, this is not the truth. This is the temporary world. And Krishna is telling the true lamentation. If you want to sincerely lament, then we should lament that since so many lifetimes I have been in this material world, but I am so far from Krishna. I'm not connected with Krishna. In that way, we can have a true lamentation, and we should do our needful to get connected with Krishna. Like that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Vishal Prabhu, you are staying from where?
Prabhuji, I stay in China.
China.
Ji, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. How come you got connected with our Gita Paath group?
Prabhuji, I heard, I received a message maybe from you only, from your side, and I heard you on the one of the sessions in Hare Krishna TV. From there on, like I got connected with you, and then I was lucky enough to receive the message last week about this ongoing course, and today I'm here with you. Hare Krishna.
So you are in the Gita Paath group?
No, Prabhuji, it's the first time. It's the first time I'm attending the session. I don't have any other group connection with you.
So you can just WhatsApp me on my WhatsApp number, and I'll add you in that Gita Paath group, our English Gita Paath group, where you will get all the updates. So generally, we conduct the class on every Wednesday. And yesterday, I had some services, so I did today.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I'll definitely pin you.
So you have my number?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have it.
So you can just WhatsApp me, then I'll add you in that. So
Ji,
in
Prabhuji.
China, do you have a devotee community there?
Prabhuji, no, there are some local people believing in following Krishna consciousness, but it's far off. Like it's in other province or cities. In the city which I'm staying, I don't have any association.
What is the name of the city?
I stay near Shanghai, in a place called Shaoxing.
Okay.
That's related to that's really I'm into in the field of textiles. So this particular area where I'm staying is known as a textile city of China.
Okay. If I get any connection, then I'll let you know.
Oh yeah, just need your blessings. That's like, thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Hare Krishna. Anybody have any questions, any comment, anything you want to share from today's class? Rajendra Savanji, Anuja, Sashi Prakash, Tulika, Hari Sharma ji. Oh, Hari Sharma ji is there today. For the first time I'm seeing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Happy to see you in Gita Paath group.
Yes, actually, I just came from the office and I saw that time was 8:30. So I joined around 8:42.
Okay. So how did you like the class?
Yeah, I like this was my first class actually. So I will try to continue this.
Yeah, a little technical. But that's what Krishna in Bhagavad Gita explains all the philosophy. Understand, then our practicing become Krishna conscious become really a good foundation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I am also first time joiner.
Okay.
And yeah, I understood the sloka that you explained, importance of how to understand the body and the God connection.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Can
Hare
you please
Krishna.
tell me, Prabhu, how you got connected with our group?
I got connected by visiting Galtave in the last week.
Okay, you stayed in our guest house.
Yes, Prabhu.
You are from where? Where you are staying?
I am from Mumbai. But right now I'm at my native place near Goa.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So is this class, you think it's helpful?
Yeah, it is really very helpful to us to understand, because understanding the sloka and then application is
Right.
very important. But I will be understanding it after more classes, I think. It will
Please,
require.
yeah,
Yeah.
please keep continuing. Then slowly all the concept, everything. Gita, it's like it's a sequence of philosophy, and so many concepts will come. So if you continue, then automatically you'll understand all the concepts. It will be very helpful. And
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, who's the next?
Hare
Anything?
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Sasi Prakash ji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, actually, this question that was running since long. This question I wanted to ask. So today I think it is the right time. So the basic essence of this two verses is ki, like we should not lament over the death of anyone. But if I'm thinking like this, ki some child is there, if he's losing that both the parents, that we heard many cases this happened in this COVID pandemic. So that child, if he's losing both of the parents, then there is very fair chances that that child future that will go into a deep darkness. He may take wrong path because no one is there to guide him. So I'm not finding any reason why that child will not lament over the death of both of the parents. So can you please explain, Prabhuji?
Okay, so one thing we have to understand when Krishna is telling to Arjuna, he is telling the philosophy, he is telling the reality, the truth. There is a truth, reality, a philosophy, and there is emotions. So both are separate. So when you are staying in the real life, the philosophy act to take a decision in the life, judgments. Simultaneously, you have your own emotions. Human beings are like a social animal. It has an